Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 5th grade concept of recognizing additive and multiplicative patterns. This is standard 5.4D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 5 off the Redesign Practice Online STAAR Test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a table here. We've got a relationship between x and y, and we just need to find a true statement. So let's turn on our graph draw feature, expand it out, increase the transparency so we can see what's going on behind, and we'll hit draw. So this tells us exactly what we need to be looking at. We need to look at the relationship between x and y, which means we need to be looking side to side, because that's how you can look between x and y. And the reason why that's so important is because sometimes your tables go long ways like this, right? And you might have an x and y like this. And if that's ever the case, well, then you need to look up and down. So you're always looking between the two columns. You don't want to look up and down over here, because that's just going to be within x or within y. So let's look in between the two. And let's see if we can find a rule. So if we're going from left to right, we go from x to y. So it's getting bigger. So that means we are going to do either x, which is going to be 4, plus something equals 14, or 4 times something equals 14. That's how we get bigger. Well, 4 plus 10, that makes 14. There's no even number that I know of that's going to get us up to, or a whole number that's going to get up to 14. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. That's right in between, so it's going to end up being like 3.5, 3.5. Well, that's usually not going to be it for 5th grade, but let's continue on with the next one. So I've got 8. I already tried a plus 10. Right, so let's see how that works. 18, okay, check. 8 times 3.5, 3.5. Well, 3 eighths is 24, so half of 8 is 4. That's going to end up being 28, but this wants me to do 18. So, okay, so it looks like I've got a plus 10. So let's just carry that down. 16 plus 10 equals 26. Yeah, looks good. And then 32 plus 10 equals 42. Yeah, all right. So we have our rule. So our rule, if we want to write it that way, equals plus 10. You add 10. But here's the problem. It doesn't ask for just the rule. Now we have to write it out, and we have to see what's going on in word form. Okay. So what type of relationship? Notice our options here. Let me change colors. We've got multiplicative, multiplicative, additive, and additive. Well, you can kind of see what type of operation we're dealing with because it's very close to this word multiplication. So multiplicative is very close to multiplication. And when we're thinking multiplication, we're thinking multiply or times. And we tried the times. It was the times 3.5, and that didn't really work out. So it's multiplicative. It's another times. So A and B are both going to be multiplicative patterns. C and D, there we go, additive patterns. That's going to be addition. That's what we ended up doing, right? Our rule was plus 10. But we can't have 2 additive patterns. We can only have 1. So let's choose between C and D. It is an additive pattern because when each y value can be determined by finding the sum of the previous x and y values. Well, I didn't add x and y. I added x plus 10, right? Here was my thing. X plus 10 equaled my y. It's an additive pattern because each y value is determined by adding 10 to the x. Okay, that's what I did. I added 10 to each x right here to get to my y over there. So my answer is D.